Good afternoon, good morning, hello, wherever you are joining from. Welcome to today's I3PM Quarterly. Our topic today is EU IP and innovation support initiatives and funds for SMEs, for small and medium-sized enterprises. So if you're a startup or a small or medium-sized business, this is probably the event for you. One of our speakers, Ivan, even made a LinkedIn post today, I saw, and the LinkedIn post said that you can benefit from up to 90% financing on your IP costs by using EU funds. So that sounds pretty exciting to me, I guess. So let's see how that works in today's webinar. While we're talking about the speakers, let me introduce the speakers for today's webinar. Just very briefly, my name is Bastian Best. I'm a computer scientist by training and a patent attorney by profession. But this event is not about me today. I'm just your moderator. But the speakers are, on the one hand, we have Claire Fritz, who is head of IP and innovation of now I forgot how to pronounce the company. Claire, you have to tell me.
It's Eurice. So hello, everyone. I'm Claire.
Eurice, exactly. Okay, good. The first learning today. Claire is, as I said, head of IP and innovation at this company. She has a background in project management and a focus on IP specifically for around about 10 years. And I've heard that she specializes in EU-funded IP initiatives. So a perfect pick for today's topic. On the other hand, our second speaker is Ivan Gauci. He's an IP strategist for startups. He is both an IP consultant and a marketing strategist. And he works also as a seconded national expert at the EU IPO, where he specializes, among other things, also in EU funding. So also he's the perfect fit for today's topic. Funding initiatives for SMEs. So all in all, I couldn't think of any better speakers for today's topic. Even more so since both speakers are also very active at I3PM, and they are both part of the I3PM committee on IP for SMEs, which deals specifically with the question how startups and SMEs and small companies can make practical use of IP, right? So let's have a brief look through the agenda. Agenda point 1, we are right into it. Now we are making the welcome and intro. Before we start into the actual topic, I want to give you a brief update and a brief overview on I3PM, on our association, for all the new people joining the webinar today. Then we will have the main presentation by Claire and Ivan. And at the end, we can make a Q&A where the speakers, I'm sure, will address all of your questions. That being said, I encourage you to ask questions. This is your chance to learn from our experts here today. You can just put your questions into the comment section on LinkedIn, and then I will collect the questions and I will have an eye on the chat and will then forward the questions to the speakers, right? Speaking of the comment box, please make sure to help us spread the word. So it would be very kind if you could just hit the thumbs up, the like button, or the heart, or some other emoji, if you prefer that, in order for us to spread awareness about this event on LinkedIn. And also maybe if you just write into the chat where you are joining from. I also already see 2 I3PM members online. Maria says hello everyone, and Martin Wilming from Switzerland. Perfect. So with that being said, let me give you a brief overview for all the people who are maybe not yet members, but still nevertheless joining this webinar. What is I3PM anyway? So I3PM is the International Institute for IP Management. In short, I would say we stand for quality in IP management. Quality in IP management. So we're a global network of IP management professionals, managers, and IP leaders on a mission, more or less, to enhance the quality of IP management. We have members from more than 22 countries. And I see in the chat that we have right now people from Germany, from Switzerland, from the USA, from Chicago, and then 2 gentlemen from Grenoble and Paris, so from France. So a truly international and global association. As I said, members from more than 22 countries, and we are quite proud to say that we have around about 30% female members. So also diversity is built into our association. Now, what are the benefits of becoming a member of I3PM or of being a member? Let me group that into 3 buckets, so to say. So I would say the first benefit is we help you grow. So members of I3PM have access to an I3PM content portal, which is an online education platform with lots and lots of training material, lectures, expert interviews, and things like that. Lots of learning and education material about all things IP management. I3PM is also a preferred education partner of the European Patent Office. So if you want to learn more and improve your knowledge base on IP management, that's a great thing to use, the I3PM content portal. Second benefit is we help you get noticed. I3PM is a LinkedIn first community. Actually, we just crossed 2,000 followers on LinkedIn just a few days ago. And we have members of I3PM then also have access to what we call the LinkedIn social media support, which includes also training resources and also services to enhance your online visibility and reputation. Very important in today's knowledge sharing and online first world, so to say. And benefit number 3, I would like to point out, is we help you connect. Across in different ways, actually. So we are a community. There's regular opportunities to meet other members and to exchange with them. We have a number of committees, 16 committees, where our members are very active in participating to shape various specific topics in the IP management ecosystem. And I3PM also runs various other types of events to connect its members. One of those events is the I3PM Quarterly, which we are in right now. Another upcoming event I would like to point out, because it's personally very interesting for me also, is the IP Business Academy Live Talk. The next edition will be with Daniel Holzner on the topic of AI tools for synthetic inventing. So very, very practical and very current topic, how to use AI tools in our profession. So that's a brief overview over the benefits of becoming an I3PM member. We help you grow, we help you get noticed, we help you connect, and overall it's a great international network to be part of. So if you are not a member yet, please consider becoming one. You can just go to i3pm.org, our website, and there you can find all the information you need. Okay. So even we have Irene Corpus, who says in the LinkedIn chat, hello from Dubai. Great to have you as well, despite the time difference. All right. With that being said, I would like to hand over to the speakers, actually, who are actually, I think I missed that slide, probably. I forgot to say that both, no, I did say that both of you are active in the committee. So perfect fit for today's topic. And with that being said, I would say, take it away. I think you are first, Claire, right?
Yes, Yes, I am. So thank you very much, Bastian, for having us and for also the invitation for the SME committee to give this quarterly today. Ivan and myself are very excited, so I hope I'm not too nervous. Anyway, Bastian, could you please switch to the first of my slides, please? So, as Bastian already pointed out, I'm going to talk about IP and innovation support initiatives of the European Commission. And that doesn't mean that I'm talking about all that is out there. Unfortunately, I was not able to put that together, but I am able to give you a, let's say, nice overview of the initiatives that are considered the main. That's also, again, a political yeah. I'm just saying, anyway, I'm giving you an overview of the most, for me, well-known IP and innovation support initiatives, not only for SMEs, but also for researchers. So I'm starting with the EC IP Helpdesks, as I'm also a member of the European IP Helpdesk and of the India and the Latin America IP SME Helpdesk. And I don't know if you see this, but there is a difference in the name. So you have the European IP Helpdesk, and then you have the others with the geographical focus: Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia, and China, IP SME Helpdesk. So here is already the difference to be seen, and also when it comes to the mission of the different initiatives. So the international IP SME helpdesk, how we call them, are actually providing IP and innovation support to SMEs, European SMEs that are planning or going abroad. So the slogan is "Know before you go." They are providing training, content, and a helpline, but I'm going to talk about this in a minute. And the European IP Helpdesk is providing support to SMEs and researchers, so academia, based in Europe and who is actually active in Europe. So from Europe to Europe, or from Europe to other geographical parts of the world. The next slide, please, Bastian. Thank you. So yeah, I'm just using the European IP Helpdesk as an example, as it's also a little bit more complicated what they are offering. So first of all, the service initiative of the European IP Helpdesk exists now already more than 20 years, which is quite impressive for a EU initiative. We are providing training. We have a helpline you can call. We are publishing different forms of communication channels. So that means we are working on articles, we are working on social media, we are working on videos, we are working on guides, but also more about that in a bit. We have one website that is called the IPEC Hub. And there you can find, just in case you are looking for support and you don't know yet if perhaps you want to go somewhere else, you can find all the different help desks on the same website. And this here on the left is the link. So ec.europa.eu IP-helpdesk. And we are, as I said, addressing beneficiaries of EU-funded projects, which can be academia and researchers or SMEs, but the European IP Helpdesk is also supporting European SMEs that are doing business in Europe. That's why I'm saying it's a little bit more complicated, as the international IP Helpdesk, IP SME Helpdesk are not focusing at all on EU funding. So next slide, please. Thanks. When it comes to the helpline, they all offer the same service. You can just pick up the phone and call us, and our team of, I think it's 5 now, 5 IP attorneys is answering the phone, and they're even able to talk to you in different European languages. But I would always recommend to draft an email with your question, and then to send it first and to call then a day later or 2 days later, as usually they are able to really read all the emails on the very day. But of course, we reserve 3 working days in order to then get back to you, in order then also to not promise too much. But yeah, as it's here written, answer within 3 working days, but I say just send the email and call the next day. Everything you're sharing with the team is 100% confidential, and the helpline would hate me to say that, but it's true. You can also send, for example, your consortium agreement and ask them to comment on the IP clauses. It's of course just first line advice. It's not legally binding, as we are just a support initiative, as the name says already, but it can be very helpful, and sometimes it also just gives you the last push to perhaps reach out for professional help, just in case you're not sure if or whether you need it or not. Next slide, please, Bastian. Thank you. And all of the initiatives are providing training. So the European IP Helpdesk is quite famous for the training curriculum. I think per year we are training about 20,000 people. So implemented via webinars or on-site trainings, just in case, as we also count IP professionals out there to our audience. This is a shout out. We are looking for partners for training events all over Europe. Just in case you would like to implement a training, just send us an email to training@iphelpdesk.eu and we are reaching out and discussing with you potential. So we are of course taking care of the expert. The topic just has to fit in our curriculum, of course. So our webinar, for example, looks quite the same as our quarterlies here. We used to plan 45 minutes, but with all the Q&A at the end, we are now at almost 80 minutes per web session. The average number of participants is also quite high, so don't disclose anything you don't want to disclose or you shouldn't be disclosing during these Q&As, as I think the average is now between 100 and 120 participants. But that also means that it's quite lively, and you very often we hear that the Q&A is the most interesting part, which is unfortunate for us who are taking care of the content of the webinar, but and this is just to show you what are the topics. So the training for the European, for example, started today, the curriculum with IP and biotechnology, and then we have which is perhaps let me start at the beginning. So we have different sectors we are focusing on, but we are also focusing on IP in EU funded projects and on IP in business. So from IP commercialization to IP commercialization advanced, as we are here targeting more the SMEs out there as the SME committee. We have also a webinar about freedom to operate analysis, as this is also one of the bigger questions for SMEs. And when it's, for example, concerning IP in EU funded projects, we have webinars about consortium agreements, what you should know before you prepare it. Then also IP in open science, or Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions. Just this is a bit more specific, let's say, but also of interest for SMEs who are looking for fellows, for example, that would then be working with them. Next slide, please, Bastian. Thanks a lot. And this is an overview of the different publications of the different help desks. So in the middle, the orange one is, for example, if I'm not mistaken, from the Indian IP SME help desk. So what are we doing? We are trying to increase the usability of information, let's say. So we are trying to give quick and dirty, sexy overviews of complicated topics in fact sheets, in articles, but also in infographics. Even though it doesn't look so sexy, from my point of view, in the bookstore of the European Commission, it's quite complicated to find the right information, but once you get your way through it, I really think it's nice what type of information is prepared. For example, how to register a trademark for beginners, how to prepare for an exhibition before you go, what is information you should really be careful to share, and so on. So, and especially, for example, when you are an SME that is planning to go to China, for example, this type of information is not the same in all the different geographical areas of the world. So there are specificities that you can easily find in these publications. Next slide, please. And here you see the other formats we are, for example, using. So we have case studies in order to provide reference points. You can sort these case studies by sector. So if you are an SME working, for example, in CATS, key enabling technologies, for example, or you are working in mid-tech, it's always useful to take a look how the others did it, how the others sorted it out. And we've also co-developed a very nice series of case studies together with the EPO. And about that, I forgot to talk about that before. There's also a training series provided that was provided last year. You can watch all the videos on YouTube. We also have a podcast together with the EPO, and we have a blog. And as I said, I know I didn't talk about the bulletin yet. So the bulletin is kind of a magazine that is published twice a year. It's always with a thematic focus. So let me think. I think the last one was about, the last one was about Horizon Europe, and the next one is going to be about social impact licensing. So quite specific, but it could be that it's of interest for you. We are cooperating with everybody we can get a hold on. We are trying, of course, to get all the big players to participate. And the next bulletin is planned for June. So thanks. And the next slide, please, Bastian. Thank you. And there is another cooperation, and I hope Udo is here today. I'm not sure, as I don't see the audience, unfortunately. Actually, Udo was supposed to be sitting here and to provide this session, but then he was very kind and asked me if I would like to take over. And so here we are. And Udo is not that he's a long-term IP expert, yes, for in Linz, but actually he's also an IP ambassador for this ambassador scheme I'm presenting here. It's a cooperation with the Enterprise Europe network. That is the biggest business support network financed by the European Commission. And just in case someone of you out there is a member of the Enterprise Europe network and you have experience in intellectual property of at least 4 years, providing support to SMEs when it comes to innovation management, please reach out. We are looking for new ambassadors too. So Bastian, I'm sorry, I'm using this webinar also to reach out to get new thanks. To get new energy into our team. So yeah, the Enterprise Europe network, as I said, is the biggest business support network by the European Commission. And that means we have satellites. At the moment, we have, at the beginning, there was something standing about 47. I think we have 50 ambassadors now. I'm sorry, I didn't correct this number. We have 50 ambassadors in 28 European countries. So that means that to all the SMEs out there, even though you're listening now to me speaking in English, but it could be that you prefer to cope with IP and innovation issues in your own mother tongue. So thank you. In your own mother tongue, and would then be helpful to talk to someone who is living in your country, who knows about the national jurisdiction, and who can then help you to understand better how to proceed. And yeah, this is actually our team of IP ambassadors. I know that also Mustafa is a member of I3PM, and Mustafa was also a long-term ambassador for us. And we just published a new publication that was developed in cooperation with all the different ambassadors of our team. It's called the IP Handbook. and it's focusing on the IP journey of EEN clients. Next slide, please. So, and this is, I guess, then for all the professionals out there, the most interesting slide I have to offer, as these are other SME innovation support services who are providing IP support for free. So I myself use a lot the WIPO Academy and the EU IPO Learning Portal. Even though Ivan is going to talk about EU IPO, I'm a big fan of all the content they are offering and all the programs, especially also the funding schemes he's going to present in a bit. And we are also working very much with the Horizon Results platform. If you are involved in an EU-funded project, the HRP, the short abbreviation of it, also offers training, and they are also offering support when it comes to the exploitation of your key research result. And they are, of course, joining forces with the Horizon Results Booster, which is another very important IP and innovation support initiative of the European Commission, but it's only targeting people that are beneficiaries of EU funding. So they are helping you to understand in which way you can fully exploit your results. They are even helping you with your business planning. Take a look. The call is still open. And then we have here also the leadership for SMEs. They are analyzing your assets with a, if I'm not mistaken, a very intelligent AI solution. And I may not talk about that officially as EC project member, but there is also another very interesting website that's called Evalify. This is just me, Claire, talking about that as I just learned about it. It's an AI that is offering a FTO, a freedom to operate analysis for quite little money, and the quality is really good. So Evalify, take a look at it. And then the EPO Academy, of course, we are joining forces with them every year. We are also providing new training this year. Again, it's going to be 5 sessions. I think the focuses are this year AI. Then we are also joining forces with the CPVO and the EPO. So the focus is geographical indications and plant varieties. And then another very interesting website I'm using quite often is the Deep Tech Finder, just in case you are a startup and you are interested in patents. Take a look at the Deep Tech Finder of the EPO. You can just search by startup name or the area. I think I'm using too much of my time. And then there is for IP Council. For IP Council is also offering interactive online learning tools. So for example, the fact sheets they are offering are interactive. You're clicking on, it's kind of a quiz offering immediately then the answer on another page. So it's kind just in case you are looking for something for your target group, perhaps to get more familiar with the basics of intellectual property. So it's about branding, it's about patents, and yeah, so on and so forth. Next slide, please. And this is my last slide. Yeah, here on the right side, you can see a picture of the Deep Tech Finder I was talking about. I wasn't looking for anything. I just opened the website. So this is just the main overview you get right away. And then I didn't want to miss, even though Ivan is talking from the perspective of EU IPO, to talk about trademark view and design view as search engines, and then of course as Passnet of the EPO. Thank you very much. And I'm handing over to Ivan now.
Thank you so much, Claire. Ivan, just 1 second before I give it the microphone over to you. So first of all, thanks very much, Claire. While you were talking, Martin Wilming was writing a comment. He was saying there's a lot more content around that I had known. Thanks for the guidance. I completely agree. So it's really amazing to see what amount of and what wealth of educational content is there available. One question that came up, which we can maybe address right now because it fits into, it's directed specifically to your presentation, Claire, is the information available is amazingly rich, but if you look from the perspective of an SME, it might be overwhelming. Heck, it is overwhelming. Where do you advise where would be the starting point? How not to drown?
That is true, Maria. Thank you very much for that question. So first, I would start at the one-stop shop Ivan is going to talk about. I had it in my list. If you go back 2 slides, Bastian, there is one website. One more, please. Yeah. You see here the point number 3, the ideas powered for business SME. Okay, SME fund. No, but there is a website that is called IP, the ideas powered for business. And there, if you are an SME and you are looking for support, it is sorted by you are looking for education, you are looking for partners, or you are looking for real support. So I would recommend to start there, even though it's not us, but we are there as well. So we are cooperating with this website. So all the initiatives I've been talking about are also on their map. They have a mapping. I think it's, if you look, I think it's called Connect. If you click on Connect, it's right in the middle of the website, if I remember it correctly, but it's still work in progress. So this website was implemented, I think, mid 1.5 years ago, but they're still working on the organization of all the content. And yeah, even though I'm also trying to find my way through this jungle, that's why I was saying at the very beginning, it's so difficult to say, okay, this is the perfect overview of all the support that's out there. That's not true. There are so many things, even though I'm working in this field day by day, I'm not aware of, and I'm learning from day to day new people that are providing this kind of support. What, for example, is also very interesting, and I've never known, but I was looking for well-organized IP content in a very easy to understand way, and I can really recommend the Australian IP Office website. It's amazing what they offer, even though it's the Australian one, but when it comes to the basics, you can find everything there. And the UK one is also very, very good. So just to underline what you are saying, it's overwhelming, but if I were an SME, I would recommend to start at this Ideas Powered for Business website.
Cool. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Claire. Perfect. With that being said, I would say let's move on to your presentation, Ivan, right? Do you want to share your slides yourself?
Yes, yes. Perfect. So welcome everyone. You can see that we have a very diverse audience from different countries. On behalf of the SME committee at I3PM, together with Claire, I would like to welcome you again for this webinar. In particular, the session I will be focusing on. In very brief, I will go through some of the main services available for European SMEs offered by the European Union Intellectual Property Office. Whereas mentioned also by Bastian in the introduction, I am currently working at. Okay, as most of you are aware, the European Union Intellectual Property Office is a European agency with different roles in the area of intellectual property protection. Nonetheless, the main role it has is the provision of a unified and efficient system for registering intellectual property rights, specifically trademarks and designs within the European Union. Although, as we all know, this role is also being increasing by the European Commission lately. However, as part of its new functions, similar to the other European and non-European IP offices, nowadays we are seeing a move for such national IP offices and international IP offices to move from the role of an IP administrator or regulator of IP rights to a more active role closer to SMEs and startups. That is that of looking into the creation and promotion of specific IP services and tools to assist them not just in the registration area, but also in the IP management and IP strategy area of IP rights. This slide highlights some of the IP services currently available for European SMEs. These are made available in most European countries with the help of the national IP offices, which also play an important role as regulators of IP rights at a national level. Since I only have 15 minutes at my disposal today, I will be going through at some detail on two main services which the EUIPO offers at the moment: the SME Fund Grant Scheme and the IP Scan service, both available for European SMEs. For more information on the other IP services listed on the slides, which also most of them are free of charge for SMEs, one can easily find detailed information about them on the EUIPO website, or else on the website which was also highly praised by Claire, the Ideas Powered for Business website. I will post the links of both websites in the comment section on LinkedIn should anyone wants to get more information about these specific services. So what is the EUIPO SME Fund Grant Scheme? As everyone mostly can agree that European SMEs are the backbone of innovation, empowering economic activity through their entrepreneurial spirit across different industries and sectors within Europe's business landscape. In fact, SMEs contribute substantially to the European economy, representing about 99% of all businesses and generating around 60% of total added value. To this effect, the SME Fund provides financial support to EU small and medium-sized enterprises for the protection of their intellectual property rights. The SME Fund is a European Commission grant scheme implemented by the EUIPO and has been running for this year since January and will continue running up to the 6th of December 2024, or as long as funds are available. SMEs can apply for vouchers that will give them a partial refund on the cost of the IP right or IP service they apply for. In the next two slides, I will cover the main elements of the SME Fund, who can apply, and what vouchers are available for European SMEs. Let's look at what are the main elements of the SME Fund. Who can apply for the SME Fund? The company applying to the fund has to be an SME established in the European Union, according to the official EU definition of the SME. Also, Ukraine-based SMEs are also eligible to apply. What are the terms to apply? As already mentioned, the SME Fund grant voucher has started in January, and so far it will stay open under the 6th of December or until funds have been used already. What activities can be applied for under the SME Fund scheme? There is the reimbursement of the IP Scan service and also the IP Scan enforcement service. There's the reimbursement of fees related to trademarks and designs, patents and legal costs for EU patent applications, and also the reimbursement for plant variety fees. In the next slide, we will also describe in more detail the 4 vouchers available for SMEs. Applications for the SME Fund can be submitted directly by an SME or else with the help of an external representative, like an IP lawyer or an IP manager or consultant. The 2024 SME Fund has more services than the one which was launched last year. The SME Fund has been now ongoing for 4 years. This is the 4th year. The SME Fund call for 2024 overall covers 4 vouchers. We have voucher 1, which covers the IP Scan and also the IP Scan enforcement service. The reimbursement rate for such service is 90%. For a maximum amount of up to €1,350. This cost depends on the service at a national level, and also the maximum cost that can be recovered is €1,500. Voucher 2 covers trademarks and designs at national, regional, EU, and also international levels for a maximum voucher amount of €1,000. In this case, an SME can be reimbursed for 75% of the cost for trademarks and designs requested at a national, regional, or EU level, and at a 50% for trademarks and designs requested at an international level. For this year, the novelty in relation to this voucher is that designation of EU member states, as well as the EUIPO, are eligible for reimbursement for international applications through Madrid and the HAT systems. When we come for voucher 3, which covers patent-related activities, there is a maximum amount of funding of a total of €3,500. This can be divided, or the reimbursement rate available. We have 75% discount for patent prior art searches provided by National IP Office, also including those provided by the Visegrad Patent Institute. There is 75% also reimbursement for filing, search and examination, grant and publication fees for national patents. There is another 75% available for filing and search fees for European patents in this case. And also, interesting for IP companies, there's a 50% on legal cost reimbursement for patent application drafting and filing. This is something new which has been launched for this 2024 SME Fund. Lastly, the voucher 4 covers community planned variety activities for an amount of €1,500. Here, the reimbursement rate available is of 75% for online filing and examination fees. And also, with one voucher, an SME can apply for multiple CPVRs. Important to remember to apply for the SME fund is that SMEs have the option to apply for any of the 4 vouchers that suits best their IP strategy. SMEs also can apply for one type of voucher per year, meaning that an SME cannot apply for or receive 2 vouchers to be used, for example, the same IP rights. For example, having 2 vouchers to be used for patents. This is not possible. You can only apply for different vouchers for different IP rights. Also, any SMEs who has applied already for the SME fund at the UIPO in the past years can again apply again and get a new voucher for 2024. From this slide, I wanted to showcase an example or a few examples of the cost covered by the SME fund and the reimbursement that the SME or startup or company that applies would receive. For example, when an SME applies under the SME fund for a European Union trademark, which costs the minimum €850, including for one class, the SME fund will cover 75% of that cost, meaning that the SME would only pay out in terms of getting this trademark, European trademark, around €212, getting a 75% financing back. We will now briefly discuss the UIPO IP scan, which is also a service that is being provided by the UIPO under the SME fund scheme for SMEs. In fact, last year, about 2,500 SMEs in Europe benefited from an IP scan under the SME fund. Why and what's the advantage here? As already mentioned, is that an SME can get around 90% or up to 90% of its cost when carrying out an IP scan. For those who are new to the service of an IP scan or an IP diagnostic service puts an SME in contact with an IP expert who is designated by the country's national IP office. The IP expert will work with the SME or company to review its business model, products, services, and also growth plans. Having first went into the business model analysis, the IP expert will then determine what intangible assets or IP rights the SME owns, what it might need to protect, and also come up with recommendations and devise an IP strategy to help the business grow. We highly recommend SMEs to look into this IP scan service. In fact, the service is available in 13 European countries. And as an SME, we also encourage that first they apply for an IP scan service to maximize the benefits and create a tailor-made IP strategy or IP portfolio with the support of a new IPO trained IP expert. Should we have now in the audience any IP lawyers or IP managers who would be interested to become UIPO trained IP scan or IP scan enforcement providers, they can get more information about how to become an IP scan provider under the scheme by visiting the IP scan page on the UIPO website, or contact directly. Also, you can contact directly your national IP office to first check if the IP scan is available in your country, and then to get to know more information how to become an IP scan expert under the SME fund scheme. On this point, just this morning, we just held the first IP scan expert training at UIPO, all online, where we had about 250 new IP scan experts attending and getting their certification to start offering IP scan services within their country. The IP scan service brings us to the end of this short presentation about some of the most requested IP support services for European SMEs. While I hope that you have found this information session valuable for your business and clients, and also beneficial to those SMEs who might have joined us this afternoon to learn more about the IP scan and also the other EU IP support service available, please feel free to drop any questions you might have in the chat, or else feel free to contact me via my email or to go and get more information from the UIPO website. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you very much for this great presentation. And that's a great overview. Lots of cost reimbursement opportunities here. So while the questions are probably coming in the chat, one question from my side, you were talking about the IP scan service and then your slides, and you also briefly mentioned the IP scan enforcement service. So what's the difference between those two?
Yes, the IP scan service is a service that has been launched now for about 2 years, and the IP scan enforcement service is quite a recent one. The IP scan service is where an SME would like to get help to first identify what IP does it have, to go into the business model of the SME, and to develop an IP strategy. So it's more, let's say, identification or an IP audit point of view, and creating an IP strategy tailored for the SME with the help of an IP expert. With regards to the IP scan enforcement, it's also using or with the help of an IP expert, and it's more of a consultation when an SME finds itself into an enforcement issues, when there is maybe a possibility or there is already exists a litigation case. And when applying for the IP scan enforcement, again, there's a 90% financing available. You get an IP expert who can already start looking at the case or the litigation and see how you can solve it before going into, let's say, a proper litigation case.
I see. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, cool. So we have in the chat one comment from Professor Alex Wurzer. He says that as part of his master's degree at the SAIPI IP Business Academy, Ivan conducted a brilliant study on different approaches used by national IP offices for SME IP scans. And Alex Wurzer has also dropped the link to this study into the comments. So please check that out, dear attendees of this webinar. We have a question, or is it more a comment? Let's see, by Maria. SME fund is great. The thing to remember, though, is that one must apply for the voucher first and get the positive decision before, for example, applying for a trademark. Is that right? Okay.
Yes, that's a very good point. Thank you, Maria. For an SME to apply, they have to go through a very short administrative process where they go on the UIPO website. They provide some information about that they are an SME, from which country they are, and which type of voucher they would like to apply. It's a very short and easy application form, and within 15 days they will get a reply whether their application or voucher has been given by the IPO. Once they get the voucher, then they should apply for their IP right with the National IP Office or with the Patent Office. So first get the voucher and then apply for the IP right. That's very important.
Okay, but this concerns the day when you file your IP right, your trademark or your patent application, right? You have to secure this voucher before the filing date, so to say.
Exactly.
I understood that you can also get reimbursements for the professional representative for the patent attorney work.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. In case of
when do you have to get that voucher before you instruct that professional, or?
Likewise, yes. It works on a reimbursement basis. So an SME has first to obtain the voucher. So if they are going to go for a patent and that's voucher 3, and they would like to get a refund, a 50% refund for the legal fees for the application, first they would need to go and apply on the UIPO website, get the voucher for the patent, so it's voucher 3, and then start the process of talking with an IP lawyer and going through the process of the application, or else doing the legal part. Let's say once the lawyer would issue the request for payment, the SME would pay and then recover 50% of the payment after by submitting a request for reimbursement with the UIPO. So first you get the voucher, then you ask for the service, you pay for it, and then you request reimbursement from the UIPO.
I see.
I have a mini question, Ivan, and it's perhaps a bit...
Sure.
Is it a cooperation with the EPO? Because the patent funding is new, as you said, in 2024. UIPO is mainly, of course, taking care of design and trademarks. How come patents are funded?
Let's say it's a scheme which is funded from the European Commission. So for this year, they wanted, let's say, to make IP rights being a European Commission basis, so it's not just the UIPO scheme, to be more available. So for this year, they joined UIPO and EPO. So more IP rights, let's say, can be made available, and that's why they brought in this new voucher for patents.
Yeah, seen from a point of view of a taxpayer, is of course unfair to only fund trademarks and design and no patents at all. Especially patents are the innovation drivers. But anyway, I didn't want to start a political discussion. I just had this question.
No, actually, it's let's say it's a nice initiative because we're seeing more, more possibility of an SME that might be they need a patent and also a trademark to get that kind of reimbursement or help, and also from a political point of view that we have the EPO and the UIPO working together.
Yeah. So it is a cooperation. Okay.
Interesting to know. Yeah. I mean, it's great to know that not only the IP rights governed by the EU IPO are concerned here, but also patents. Talking about patents, there's one more question that fits into this topic. As far as I know, SME Fund does not fund PCT filing and search fees, which is very usually used by European SMEs.
Yes. In this case, it's only for this case PCT filings are not covered. Yes.
So only national patent applications And
Yes.
patent applications at the
EPO.
European patent applications at the EPO.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I see. No PCT applications, even if they are filed at the EPO as receiving office.
I believe so. Yes, I believe so.
I
I believe so.
Okay. That's interesting to know. Okay. All right. So I think we don't have any further questions in the chat. So I guess you answered every questions and all the concerns from our audience perfectly. With that being said, do you have any last remarks? Anything to point people to? Any resources or final remarks?
From my end, I again recommend startups or SMEs to go to the UIPO website. I will also share the link here later in the chat, and also the Ideas Powerful Business website. But also all the lists which Claire mentioned are very good and a wealth of information where any startup or SME can get information about IP.
Yeah, and from my side, it's still quite a problem where to start if you are an SME or a startup that would like to take care of the IP management. I would recommend not only to start perhaps with the IP scan, but also to reach out to the helplines I've been mentioning, just to get an understanding of, yeah, what could be suitable for my case, as there is no perfect answer for everyone. It's always an individual solution that has to be put together for you. So it's always helpful to reach out to a professional that is not doing anything else than, yeah, maneuvering the way through this jungle. Yeah, and I think that these quarterlies here are also helpful in this matter. So thanks again, Bastian, for having us.
I think that's a great closing remark. So thank you, Claire and Ivan, for being the presenters today and for sharing all this very, very practical and very useful information. To all attendees of this webinar, thanks for joining us. Thanks for attending and thanks for all the comments. And also I see in the chat many thank yous to our two presenters. So with that being said, thank you all, and let's see each other soon at another occasion. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.